above the noise, beyond the radar. Welcome to the battlefield of the skies. What if I told you that a machine designed before the moon landing, before the internet, before your grandparents were born, is still America's most feared weapon of mass destruction? What if I told you this 70-year-old giant of the skies has been present at every major conflict since the Cold War began, and that the Pentagon plans to keep it flying until the year 2050? This is the story of the B-52 Stratofortress, the plane that refuses to die, the eternal sentinel that has shaped the balance of global power for 7 decades, and counting. February 15, 1952. Eisenhower is president. Stalin rules the Soviet Union. And on a runway in Seattle, Washington, a silver monster takes to the skies for the first time. The Boeing engineers who designed her thought she might serve for 20 years. Maybe 30 if they were lucky. They were wrong. Dead wrong. 71 years later, this Cold War relic still patrols the skies. Still drops its payload of destruction. Still makes enemies of America tremble at the sound of those 8 engines. But here's what's truly terrifying. She's not just surviving in the modern age. She's thriving, evolving, becoming more deadly than her creators ever imagined. The question isn't why the B-52 has lasted so long. The question is, what does it know that we don't? Step inside a modern B-52, and you'll witness something that should be impossible. A machine from the Eisenhower era, equipped with technology that makes sci-fi look primitive. The original B-52 was analog, mechanical, a brute force approach to strategic bombing. But what flies today is something entirely different. The Stratofortress has undergone more than 30 major upgrade programs, each one transforming her into something more sophisticated, more lethal. Modern B-52s don't just see targets, they sense them. Advanced radar systems can track hundreds of objects simultaneously across hundreds of miles. Electronic warfare suites can jam enemy communications before they even know they're under attack. But perhaps most chilling of all is what you can't see. The electronic signatures have been reduced. The radar cross-section minimized. She may not be invisible like the B-2, but she's learned to whisper where she once roared. The Pentagon has spent over $70 billion keeping this Cold War dinosaur relevant. That's more than the GDP of most nations. The question is, why? Because they know something the rest of us are just beginning to understand. In modern warfare, it's not about being the newest. It's about being the most adaptable. And the B-52 adapts. Vietnam. 1972. Operation Linebacker 2. 11 days of hell that would define the B-52's reputation forever. The North Vietnamese called it the Christmas bombing. 729 B-52 sorties. 15,000 tons of destruction. Hanoi brought to its knees. But that was just the beginning. What the world learned in those 11 days was that the B-52 wasn't just a bomber. It was a force of nature. Today's B-52 doesn't carpet bomb. It surgically strikes. With precision that would make a surgeon envious. Beyond visual range engagement. The modern Stratofortress can identify, track, and eliminate targets from over 300 miles away. The enemy never sees it coming. Never hears the engines. Never knows death is approaching until the payload arrives. 20 different weapon systems. From conventional bombs to nuclear warheads to the newest hypersonic missiles. The B-52 has become a flying arsenal. A weapons platform that can adapt to any mission, any enemy, any theater of war. But perhaps most terrifying is how they hunt. Not alone. Never alone. In coordinated packs, sharing targeting data in real time. What one B-52 sees, they all see. What one identifies, they all can strike. The military has a term for this. Distributed lethality. But that's just a clinical way of saying, there's nowhere to hide. 8 engines. 185,000 pounds of thrust. But it's not the power that makes enemies fear the B-52. It's the inevitability. The knowledge that once you're in its crosshairs, the outcome is already decided. March 2019. 2 B-52 Stratofortresses take off from Louisiana. Their destination? The South China Sea. 8,000 miles away. They don't stop to refuel. They don't land. For 30 hours, they patrol international waters, sending a message that needs no translation. This is the B-52's true power. Not just its weapons, its reach. Its ability to project American force anywhere on Earth within hours. Interoperability. The Stratofortress doesn't just work with American forces. It seamlessly integrates with NATO allies, sharing targeting data, coordinating strikes, leading multinational operations. But versatility is where the B-52 truly excels. Strategic bombing, tactical support, maritime patrol, electronic warfare, intelligence gathering, mine laying, even search and rescue. One aircraft, dozens of mission profiles. It's as if the B-52 was designed not for the wars of the 1950s, but for the conflicts we haven't even imagined yet. 70,000 pounds of payload. 8,800-mile range without refueling. But these numbers don't tell the whole story. Because the B-52's greatest capability isn't what it can carry, it's how long it can persist. Sustainability. Endurance. The ability to loiter over a target area for hours. Waiting. Watching. Ready to strike at a moment's notice. They call it persistent presence. But enemies have another name for it. Psychological warfare. Right now, at this very moment, B-52s are airborne somewhere in the world. They've been continuously airborne in some capacity for over 60 years. The longest-running military operation in American history. But the most chilling part of the B-52 story isn't its past. It's its future. Hypersonic missiles, artificial intelligence, autonomous weapon systems. Technologies that didn't exist when the B-52 first flew are now being integrated into its airframe. The B-52 is becoming more than a weapons platform. It's evolving into something the original designers never envisioned. A node in a global network of destruction. A piece of a larger, more terrifying whole. Connected warfare. Every B-52 linked to satellites, to ground stations, to other aircraft, to commanders thousands of miles away. Real-time targeting. instantaneous strike capability, decision-making at the speed of light. And the Pentagon's timeline? The B-52 will continue flying until 2050, maybe 2060. By then, it will have served for over a century. Think about that. A weapon system older than your great-grandparents, still deciding the fate of nations. The question isn't whether the B-52 will survive into the next century. The question is, what will it have become by then? 71 years ago, Boeing engineers thought they were building a bomber. What they actually created was something far more profound. A symbol, a promise, a threat that transcends generations. The B-52 Stratofortress isn't just a machine. It's a manifestation of American power. A reminder that some weapons don't become obsolete. They become legendary. Tonight, as you sleep safely in your bed, remember this. Somewhere above the clouds, the eternal Sentinel is watching, waiting, ready to unleash devastation that has kept the peace for 7 decades. The B-52 Stratofortress. Proof that some nightmares never die. What other Cold War weapons still patrol our skies? Subscribe for more untold stories of military power. And remember, in the skies above, there are no second chances.